Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are exploring a profoundly beautiful and ancient text, the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. If you're a focused learner who loves diving deep into philosophical solutions, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack a timeless story about spiritual vitality, uncovering a truly ancient diagnosis for our very modern problems. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever just looked around at the sheer chaos of the world today and wondered, how do we actually find real peace? The ancient Vedic texts describe our current epoch as Kali Yuga. It's essentially a dark age characterized by conflict, hypocrisy, and just a massive spiritual decline. I mean, it sounds a whole lot like our modern-day anxieties, right? Well, this entire explainer is dedicated to answering that one absolutely crucial question. You see, this quest for a remedy, it isn't new at all. In our source text, the great sage Sanaka asks exactly this. He pleads, "Tell us the essence of the story, a medicine for my ears. How does the great discrimination born of devotion, knowledge, and detachment increase?" I just love that phrasing, a medicine for my ears. It perfectly frames what we're about to explore together. A direct, narrative cure to spiritual and mental distress that's literally been passed down through millennia. And this brilliantly illustrates the immense value of the remedy we're talking about. According to the text, when the great sage Sukadeva was preparing to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam, the demigods actually approached him. They offered him a literal pot of heavenly nectar, Sudha, and asked to trade it for the narrative nectar of the Bhagavatam, the Katha Sudha. And Sukadeva? He rejected the trade outright. No way. Why? Because, well, heavenly nectar might extend your physical life, but it absolutely cannot cure the ailments of the soul. The two just don't even compare. To really drive this point home, the text describes this profound cosmic realization. Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, took a metaphorical scale and weighed all spiritual practices, all austerities, and all rituals on one side. On the other side of the scale, he placed the Srimad Bhagavatam. And boom, the Bhagavatam proved to be the heaviest and most valuable by far. True spiritual narrative and devotion completely, undeniably outweighed all other practices. Moving right along to Narada Muni's earthly journey. As a cosmic wanderer, the great sage Narada desperately searched for peace across India's most sacred rivers and holy cities. So, the crucial point is what Narada actually found instead of that peace. He observed a complete loss of truth and purity. He saw a massive rise in hypocrisy, where people were essentially just pretending to be ascetics. He witnessed the rampant commercialization of religion, people selling sacred knowledge just to fill their stomachs, and a sharp decline of genuine yogis. These ancient texts perfectly, and kind of frighteningly, describe the exact flaws and hypocrisies we so often see dominating the modern era. Which brings us to the meeting in Vrindavana. Exhausted and totally dismayed by the dismal state of the world, Narada Muni's journey finally brings him to the banks of the Yamuna River, right in the deeply sacred land of Vrindavana. And it's here that he witnesses a truly mysterious and tragic sight. Picture this vivid scene with me. Narada approaches and sees a beautiful young woman weeping inconsolably. She's surrounded by hundreds of female attendants fanning her, desperately trying to comfort her. But her focus? It's entirely on two elderly, unconscious men lying right beside her. She is trying so hard to wake them, to revive them, but they're barely even breathing. Who in the world are these suffering people, and what happened to them? Now here is the powerful aha moment of the whole story. Narada approaches, and the woman reveals her identity. She is Bhakti Devi, the literal personification of devotion. And those two elderly dying men, they're her sons. Jnana, which means knowledge, and Vairagya, which means detachment. This is such a brilliant allegory, elegantly grounding these vast abstract spiritual concepts into deeply emotional, relatable characters. Bhakti Devi then explains her tragic history to Narada, tracing her physical journey across India. She was born down south, in Dravida. She grew up in Karnataka and was highly respected over in Maharashtra. But as she reached Gujarat, the dark influence of Kali Yuga rapidly aged her. She became old, weakened by the hypocrites who abused her. It actually wasn't until she arrived in the holy land of Vrindavana that her youth and beauty were miraculously and suddenly rejuvenated. But wait, this creates a bizarre paradox. Why is the mother young and vibrant, while her sons remain old and unconscious? It's a completely unnatural reversal of age. Bhakti Devi herself is totally confused and sorrowful over this. She's like, I am young and my sons are old? How can this possibly be?
This perfectly sets up the ultimate spiritual remedy. Fortunately, Narada Muni, with his incredibly deep spiritual vision, understands exactly what's happening. He offers a cosmic diagnosis, and more importantly, the overarching solution.
Narada explains that while the sheer spiritual purity of Vrindavana restored devotion, Bhakti herself, her sons, knowledge and detachment, are literally starving. Why? Because the true essence of spiritual practice has completely vanished from the world. People are selling religion for greed. Austerities are totally hypocritical, minds are completely unmanaged, and crucially, there are no genuine seekers, no real buyers for true knowledge and detachment. In a purely materialistic world, jhana and vairagya are simply neglected until they wither away into old age.
Let's see how this builds. Because hearing this bleak diagnosis, Bhakti asks a fantastic question. Why was this terrible age of Kali Yuga even allowed to exist in the first place? Narada explains that King Parikshit, an ancient righteous ruler who actually had the power to destroy Kali Yuga, deliberately spared it. He allowed it to exist because this dark age holds one supreme, hidden advantage, a massive silver lining that outshines all of its flaws. And here is that supreme advantage straight from Narada Muni himself. What cannot be achieved by austerity, yoga, or samadhi is easily attained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting Lord Krishna's name. This is it, guys, the ultimate resolution. In past ages, spiritual perfection required thousands of years of intense meditation and practically impossible physical austerities. Now, simply engaging in genuine devotion, chanting, and hearing the nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatams is enough. This was the exact medicine Bhakti was seeking to revive her sons, and it's the ultimate cure for our modern anxieties too. Which brings us right back to you. Because the story of Bhakti Devi isn't just ancient history. It's a map of our own inner lives. Devotion might be alive within us, sure, but are our knowledge and detachment starving and unconscious in the everyday chaos of modern life? Will you seek the narrative nectar of the Bhagavatam to awaken them? The remedy is right there, waiting for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this really profound journey through the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. I truly hope this look at these ancient wisdoms brought you some clarity, some deep understanding, and most importantly, peace. Until next time, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.